I'm Alli.
And I'm Kristina, and this is PR for PR.
Today's segment is on the 12th grade senior health baby experiment project.
Over the course of the first and second marking periods, each senior is assigned a baby for a period of 3 days and 2 nights.
The process of getting the baby was actually really easy and convenient. I mean, Mrs. Washnik was really lenient in helping us decide which day we wanted our babies based on, sports and work and any activities we had.
And she made you write down your schedule so she could base when you had your baby off of it. And if you had a sport, she always asked those people first what day they wanted it and when they didn't have games.
Yeah, she always makes it so you're able to get the baby, so you won't be stressed that you'll have it somewhere where you don't want to take it out or anything, or worried about doing something wrong. So she's really good about just making sure that no matter what, you'll find a date that's easiest for you.
Yeah, and you also get to choose between a key baby and a rocking baby, and based on your schedule, I guess this can kind of help, based on if you want to take time putting the key in, or if you think rocking will be easier for you and more convenient.
But then, getting the baby is completely random, whether it's female or male.
Alli, how did you feel when you had the baby project?
I actually thought having the baby was kind of fun. You had to have him everywhere you went with him, so it was having a little partner doing everything you did. But I mean, at some points it was a little frustrating. During cross country practice, I had to wait to do run and the other activities because he was crying. But other than that, I think I learned a lot from it and I had a positive experience.
Yeah, I can kind of agree. I mean, with basketball practice, it was hard to hear in the really loud gym. Also with driving, and showering, that was kind of inconvenient sometimes. But overall, and I mean during the night too, that was kind of not fun waking up. But I mean, it's going to be reality one day. So overall, I think it was a really good learning experience for me. What was one thing you learned while having the baby?
I learned that you have to be careful who you give the infant to. Whether it's a parent or a friend, it can cause you to lose points, but in reality, it could cause the child to get severely hurt. And so there's this thing in the baby which causes it to have mishandlings and start to cry, which can monitor what you do, and it can make you lose points. So it's not just about the grade, but it's about treating the child right. So I learned that you have to be careful who you give it to, because if they're not trustworthy and if they do something wrong, it's your grade that will be affected. And as a parent, it'll be your baby who gets hurt, not theirs. So it's your responsibility.
Yeah, I think that this really gets you thinking about who you trust out of your friends. Again, it's your grade that's going to be affected, so I feel like that plays a big role in who you decide to give your baby to.
I think it teaches you a lot of responsibility because it's your job to make sure that the baby is cared for properly. So depending on who you give it to, it's your responsibility what that other person does to the baby, even though the baby may not be in your hands at that moment.
So, yeah, I agree.
So if you're taking a shower or you're driving, if you have a passenger while you're driving, they have to hold on to the baby. And if you come to a really hard stop and the baby falls out of their lap, that's a problem.
Because you should have known that person should have held on to the baby and not let them go.
Or maybe it was your fault. You should have spoke up and said, you need to put your seatbelt on. I mean, I know driving was always a hard part. My baby started crying while I was in the middle of driving home from basketball practice, and I had to pull over for 20 minutes and wait for the baby to stop crying, which was kind of a hassle, but I mean, it's reality, so.
Yeah, the baby needs to wear a seatbelt too. We can't just let babies flying around all over the car. We spoke with Mrs. Washnik about how she felt about the baby project and what she thought were some of the positives about why the school thought it was a good idea to start doing the project.
Her main point was that it was better to have a project that made you think about what it would be like instead of having a large test, which was just plain information and facts about teen pregnancy, and how you would just forget it after the test, and how it wouldn't really make an impact on you. It would more just be facts.
Basically, I think that her main motive in giving this project was to make us think about our actions, because all actions do have consequences, and I don't think she didn't want to prevent us from
having sex.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not to promote or like stop people from having sex. It's just like
It's just to make you think about when you do something that there's going to be a consequence,
Or
and
there could be.
hopefully it's not as big as having a child, but to understand that it's a huge responsibility.
yeah. And I think people remember like when they experience things, they remember it a lot better than when they just like write everything out on paper.
Like, I don't remember
Yeah.
what I learned in, like, 6th grade, but, like...
Yeah, I also
remember
feel
what
like
happened in sixth
I
grade,
enjoyed
yeah.
it more than like having a test and studying. Like it was, I mean, it was kind of stressful, but I mean, it was a different kind of stress, you know.
Like, it wasn't, like, I don't know how to... It wasn't, like, a one-day type of thing. It was, like, you had to do it for more than one day, so it wasn't just, like, oh, I had it for 2 hours, I'm done now. It's, like, I have it for 3 whole days. What am I supposed to do?
And it wasn't like you had to use like a book and like you had to use common sense, which I think is a big factor in it because a lot of people just try and look information up in a book to try and remember things, and then when you actually have to use common sense and like use reasoning that like people like is more helpful like in reality and things, I think that's more helpful than just trying to memorize words that come out of a book or a pamphlet or something.
We then interviewed Mrs. Dow and asked her, since she's a mother, how she feels about the baby project. And she explained to us how she likes it and that it's a good idea, although she does wish that it was more realistic, meaning that, like, you had to rock it. If it cried, you had to feed it.
And it, like,
It would go to the bathroom. You'd have to change it, you know.
And puke, like
more
stuff like that.
realistic.
Like, it only
things.
gives us, like, a small insight to what it's like being a mother.
Which is good because you can't go crazy with everything, but
At least it's something. I feel like it gave us the basic idea.
Of what it would be like.
yeah, I think they also like they don't want to scare us. So if the baby's like puking and we need to feed it and like all
It's
these
kind of
things are happening,
overwhelming.
yeah, for like a teenager, which is like part of the reason why it's like like you shouldn't have a baby at this age. But I think the teachers don't want us to not have a baby at all because of an experience that we had when we were seniors about how like difficult and scary it was.
If I had any tips for students getting their babies in the future, one of the main things that I would probably say is when you're sleeping to sit the baby on your nightstand or lay it on its right side and have the speaker facing you. I feel like that makes it easier for you to hear the baby if you're worried about sleeping through it or anything.
Yeah, I think one of the things that helped me most is just having it on the pillow right next to me, so that way I heard it as soon as as it woke me up.
Another tip is that when you're driving to always buckle it and to be careful who you give the baby to because your friends can give you the bad grade. So you just want to make sure that it's someone you trust and would give like an actual baby to because if they fail, you fail.
Yeah, I feel like you have to think of it as if it was a real kid, even though it's a doll, but just so that like always keep your grade in mind and think of the end result when you're giving your baby to someone.
Yeah, because there's like a sensor in the back that counts for like mishandling and everything, so you can't really treat the baby as if it's a doll because when you like throw it around and mishandle it, you'll get points taken off for that. So you can't do that with an actual child.
And it's not hard to get like a really good grade on this project as long as you follow the rules and like do the end result paper that you have to fill out. It's like not hard to get a 95.
Yeah, but a few mishandles like really can actually hurt your grade. So, I mean, just try to treat it with the best care possible.
Which, yeah, you have to be reasonable. Like, it's not hard to treat something correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just following instructions, basically, and, treating it as if it was... I mean, you don't want to, like... It's school property also. Like, you don't want to just throw it around and, like,
you don't have to pay for it if you break it or
it's
something.
Like a lot of money.
Yeah.
Another thing is that, like, know when your baby's gonna cry. Like, if it just cried, it's probably the best time to, like, go take a shower or, like, go to the bathroom or eat or change or something.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if it's gonna cry and you don't know when, but, like, you're expecting it to, it's probably not the best time to take a shower because then you'll have to, like, get out, dry the key.
Yeah. It's probably best to kind of keep in mind the last time it cried. I feel like usually it's about like 4 hours, although it's not like consistent.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think
sometimes
it ranges from like 2 to 6.
So basically, I would keep in mind just like know when it cried during the morning, so you can kind of plan out your day and like when to do things. That would really help.
We had a positive experience with the babies and we learned a lot, so we just hope that everyone who has a baby in the future will learn a lot as well and have a positive experience.
Thanks for listening to PR for PR with Kristina,
Alli,
Dana.
bye.
Feeling